174.
Shamar,
bring your views in, girl. That's what your money. That was your money. Bring. You need to go live with Ty, and you need to go in, come in here and go live with Ty, so you can bring your views in, so that you can make the money. Your money for your fans.
2 hours later. So, Butterscotch, you can't say a motherfucking thing about me. You grown ass bitch. What you need to do is go motherfucking worry about your kids instead of worry about me. You grown ass hoe. You a grown ass bitch. That'll be wrong with y'all grown ass bitch. Y'all always want to come for a bitch like me. Bitch don't motherfucking come with a motherfucking cornbread ass motherfucking brain in your motherfucking head. You grown ass bitch. If you was in my face, bitch, I would slap the fuck out your grown ass hoe.
Yeah, that was a lot, right? That was a lot, but that's what we're here to talk about today, actually. So just welcome. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'm gonna call this begging season. So in my last couple of episodes, I kind of did a more scripted version where I kind of wrote out what I wanted to say and things of that nature. And I'm just working on different, ways of doing this. I'm not really good at editing yet, so I'm just learning as I'm going along. So I hope you kind of, just be patient with me as I take this journey. So for those of you who are familiar and those of you who are not, I don't know if you know about Shamar, Big Marco or whatever they call him. He's gone viral a couple of times. So you might have seen like a clip or something like that with him maybe dancing, singing, or maybe popping his stuff like you heard in the beginning. So in the beginning, you kind of heard two different clips. You heard the first part, where they was asking for the money, and they was actually going to a trip to Vegas. And again, I'm talking about Shamarco and his friends. We'll say that for now. I'll go into more detail as we go along, but we're having a conversation right now, right? So in the first clip, you see that they're asking, they be like, they need this amount, whatever case may be, the fans, supporters, viewers, and all this is happening on Instagram Live, and this happens daily. So just keep that in mind as well, right? Then you hear the second click, and I'm talking about like getting cussed out stink. Cussed out stink like you stole something. And he was actually talking to somebody that actually had given money before, I believe, allegedly, I'm not sure. Or I know it was somebody that was like one of his viewers who had asked him a question about like why doesn't he get like an apartment, or why he doesn't try to go for housing or something, or get a job, because he doesn't have like a stable lifestyle. And that's how he was talking to her. So I kind of went into like this long rabbit hole. That wasn't even the beginning. I don't know how I started, to be honest, because you watch one thing and you end up somewhere else, and by the time you turn around, you won't even know how you got there, right? So that was one of those things where I was sitting down one day and I was sitting there and I'm just watching. I'm watching different stuff, and I dug into this whole called Shamar. Now, like you, I probably may have seen a clip or two, or heard something, or like I know, he got a little disability and things. So, but I never really studied him too much. But then when I started watching these videos, and I'm seeing like, yo, and these are like recorded live videos every day on Instagram, like I said, he's literally like begging for money. $5, $10, and you hear they be like how much you need, and people are just like how much you need. And the audience is a big problem too. We'll get into that as well. But it's just crazy because it's just like he's a grown man. And okay, at first it's like, okay, maybe you want to be sympathetic because, you'll start in the beginning. If you start earlier and you be like, okay, he's disabled, he has scoliosis, and, he also might have maybe a form of Down syndrome. I'm not sure. Allegedly, I apologize if he doesn't, or, something like that. So you're like, okay, but he's so confident. He's like, I'm that chick, I'm that bitch. And you're like, okay, get it, boo. Like, you know what I'm saying? You like, okay, I see you, you know what I'm saying? Step out on these bitches, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't gotta let nothing put you down. You out here, you trying to do something for yourself, right? Now, if you keep following the story, right, you have different friends that he meets up with. And I don't know everybody, and I'm not like exactly like well versed, but I feel like I've watched enough. But when you watch stuff and then it's like, oh, you try to go back and you talk about it, you don't remember everything. I'm one of the, sometimes that happens to me. So this might be one of those things, but I'll try to recap as much as possible because I feel like this still needs to be talked about. You know what I mean? So he went through these group of friends, and he had like maybe like slime dolls. He had a lady named Tangi, and he had a guy named Eric, and he had somebody else. And it's been a couple of people, and then Tommy even. And Tommy's gonna be a whole nother subject on himself too. But he went through this group of friends who helped him. And what appears in the videos, at least from what they be saying, is like, yo, he don't be bathing. He don't like on his own, he don't take care of himself. So he used to live with his mom and everything like that. His man, right? I can't even talk, right? But his mom, you know what I'm saying? He was living with his mom, and his mom actually, you know, passed away unfortunately. And had his brother and his sister, and I know that they were originally like his payees from what I've read. So this is all allegedly, and what happened was that I guess something happened with that situation with him and his family, where his family no longer deals with him and they kind of like moved out. He lives in Atlanta and they moved away, and they don't deal with him. They don't support him. They don't assist him for any reason at all. There's a lot of rumors about why that is, so I don't want to dive into that because I'm not sure, and some of those rumors are very trifling, if you will. So I don't want to put down nobody's name without knowing fact for fact, right? Moving along, like I said, you have these friends that help you out, and then people say that it's clout chasing. So this is a part where I know at first I felt like, yeah, well, these people are trying to get up off him because, you know, they know he could get views, he could get numbers, whether on TikTok, IG, or whatever the case may be. So they're going to use him. But then when you hit I remember I read a comment, I don't remember where it was, but it was saying like, yo, if these people are dressing him, putting a roof over his head, feeding him, actually bathing him, and I know a lot of them had gave him clothes because for whatever reason he doesn't like to take care of himself on his own. He's not bathing. He's not. He doesn't. It is okay. Let me say it doesn't appear as he bathes. And I'm not even talking about like maybe he takes a shower like once a day. I'm talking about at all. Like you might see the same clothes I think for like 2 months, 2 3 months, a week, maybe a couple of days. He'll have makeup on, and you know sometimes you know how it is, like, and we all girls, so I'll admit it, like, you know, sometimes you have your makeup on and you be looking like, oh, like my face still a little thing, so you may not like really wash your face, but you know you have to wash your face. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things is just proper hygiene, and those little things, like even brushing his teeth. He had Shekinah, I don't know if you know, from like Tiny and them, T.I. and Tiny. They used to help him out a lot. She was trying to get him on a show. She hadn't got him braces because his teeth was a little disorderly. You know what I mean? And different stuff like that. She was helping him out, and they used to be on live, and she helped him get his numbers up too, you know, with her audience. And then it was just like, I think what happens is he gets so caught up, and like he makes them put it on his front, like, you know, like, yeah, I'm that chick, I'm that person, like, you know, everybody want to be like me, everybody want to be with me, yada yada yada. But he also wants to belong because he knows in real life what he looks like. He knows in real life like his condition, and he knows the reality of it. You know, whether you could have that confidence, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think, you know, in his heart of heart, he knows that, okay, like, I'm different. And I really just want to be accepted. I really just want to belong, and I want to be like everyone else. So he's like a friend hopper. So if I'm sitting here talking, me and you could, like, if you were friends with him, he'll talk about you with the next friend and complain about you and talk shit about you with that friend, but we'll do the same thing with you and talk about that friend with you. You know what I mean? That kind of situation where it's just like, okay, you can't, there's no loyalty. You know, to put it frankly, there's no loyalty. But it's extreme because you have people doing like going out of their way to help you out, especially when you have no place to live. His mom's house, for whatever reason, it got like he got kicked out of there. He was no longer able to stay there. So then he's been to friend house, and then even at this moment, I'm talking about like 2 days, maybe I'm talking about as we speak, as you might listen to this, you know what I'm saying, on today, 10/13/2022, in a hotel chilling. And in the conversation is never about like, you know, or I want to better myself, I want to do better, or things like that. And if you hear anything in the background, I do apologize. Finding a quiet space is kind of limited because you hear the little planes and stuff. You know, I even hear a cop siren, so forgive me for that. But to continue, it's just like you living in a hotel, and he might do like the pity party, like, oh, I'm just trying to get myself together, or he'll start talking about like, you know, I want to unalive myself. So, you know, you be like, oh my dad, like, dang, I don't want this man to kill himself. But you know what? It's been more than once he said that. And for anybody who's really dealt with that shit, anybody who's ever had that feeling or been through that kind of dark space, there ain't no way you sitting here. I ain't gonna say there's no way, but sitting online, broadcasting that, making it like a thing, you barely even want to talk about it. That's a demon that you fight by yourself. So him making a mockery of it, him making it feel like it's a like, you know, like, oh, I could use this to get money, is crazy to me. But people do it, and people still give, and they be like, oh, don't do that, and they feed it into it over and over again. I don't know if it's the same people or whatever the case may be, but people definitely feed into it, and I think it's just wrong, you know, on his part. It's immoral, you know, on his part. You know, I ain't gonna knock you. You get in your bag and you figured out a way to do it, so you can't knock the hustle. But then, as you heard too, like, he be cursing these people out like a motherfucking dog, a motherfucking dog. crazy. Like, and I'm talking about, like, you heard it. And it gets worse than that. He'll talk about, like, getting your baby daddy, your husband, your boyfriend, that he gonna get him, he gonna fuck him, suck him, do all kind of shit. That's all kind of shit. Right? So first you getting disrespected like that by this boy, and he's calling you dusty, he calling you dirty, he calling you all kind of things, telling you ugly, you a monkey, nappy headed, and it's mostly black women I want to believe in his audience. So how that sound? How you sound? Who you talking to? It don't even make sense. And then to feel like I need to support that isn't. It's like, how do you support that? How could you support that? So not only that, so that okay, and then when he does get the money, these people are going on trips. And I'm talking about they going Vegas, they going Miami, they going Houston, they doing all kind of stuff. All kind of stuff. So maybe sometimes he'll go in for an opportunity, like he tried to audition for like Bad Boys, but he'll blow his opportunity. He had a chance with the Zeus Network one with Natalie and them, and something happened with that. He didn't get through with that. He said that he would, but then he got up there and he was quiet. So all the shit he be popping online in that audition, when you look at the little clip, and maybe he did something more than that, we don't know. He was quiet. Milan's audition, he ended up blowing it with Milan because he ended up trying to jump into some drama that he didn't even belong in. And that's what his lives mostly be about. It be about drama. Drama, drama, drama. And it's just like, you can't, like, you seriously live off of this every single day? Every moment of your life? And I'm talking about all through the day. You can catch different clips, like, and it's almost baffling. It's like, that's why I had to study that's why I went into the whole, because it was just like, yo, this is crazy to me. Like, this is for real. This is happening. And it's real life happening, and a lot of people, they don't pay attention to stuff like this because of course, we're engrossed in our own lives. We have shit going on for ourselves. So who has time to really sit there or even hear about stuff like that? You know what I mean? So you have that, and then he's sitting there begging, and then the people actually give. And that's the part where I'd be like, you gots to be fucking kidding me, because you have grown ass people. And I mean, some of them coming alive. So you see them. I'm talking about aunties, tanties, grandmas, whoever. Really sitting here talking about it's okay, or I love me some Shamar, he funny and this, that. And I get it. Some of the antics be like hilarious, but deep down in the core, it ain't right. Ain't nobody gonna sit here and tell me it's right. It's not right. He's sitting there laying in a hotel room, and I'm talking about on the live now with a man sitting there talking about fucking and sucking and all kind of shit. So that's where the money's going. And then getting mad and talking about unaliving himself the next minute when nobody wants to donate money. That gotta make sense to you. You guys see a pattern, and so it'd be different if, like, it's only been the past couple of months. So I'm like, maybe he's spiraling. You know what I mean? He needs time to adjust or something like that. No, and that's what made me feel like, oh, that's what made me really feel like, oh no, this is just him. You could look at like videos from like a year ago and still see him doing and acting the same damn way. The same damn way, the same cursing out, the same begging, the same unaliving, the same everything, the speech, everything. Wandering the streets, just walking the street, talking shit, jumping into people's business, messing up friendships, all kind of nonsense. So after a while, you gotta watch somebody and be like, okay, you show me who you are, I gotta believe him. But the people in the comments and the people in the audience cheering him on and being like, how much you need, they the ones that's gotta stop too. They the ones who really wilding out. They the ones who really gotta fucking get it together. Like, what you got going on in your life that you feel so desperate enough? And I ain't trying to play nobody, especially if you listen and you are somebody who does donate. Respectfully so, I don't get it. And it's like, I don't get what you have going on in your life so much so. And I understand wanting to support, especially us as black women, you know what I mean? We want to be the ones to be there. We feel sorry for our young black men, our young gay black men, our men who are going through trials and tribulations, all this other stuff. But he grown, and he's saying grown things, and he's doing grown things. A lot of us are not even physically there to really do something. And even when he's gotten the help that he needed, he still didn't take advantage of it. So that has to tell you something. And it has to tell you a bigger picture that sometimes people have to fall to be able to stand up right. And you know what I mean? And I think that's something that has to happen to him. He hasn't had that real fall yet because somebody's always been there to pick him up. Everybody's always, and I ain't gonna lie, the clout does come in. But if you feeding him and he is, if he does really don't bathe, then you got to really pressure him to bathe and brush his teeth and give him clothes and tell him to eat. And you take it, that's like taking care of a damn child. So if I get a little, clout in numbers, because it ain't like he's not going to pay them. And that's the thing. He has money. Okay, let me say allegedly, because I don't know. I don't know the man bank account. So me saying like, oh, that nigga got money. I don't know. You know what I mean? But It's very much so. I don't know if you can hear the sirens. Jesus, but okay. If you do, apologies. Just pay attention to me and follow me. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like very much so. Like he's still is stuck in this rut, and it's like, how can you be stuck in this rut and not have no sense of like reality or realization? And you realize that the social media and the live is a drug. I think he's really addicted. I think that there's no way that he could step out and just live his life normally. I don't even think he would know what to do with himself. I don't even think I think too that he has an idea of grandeur about himself where he feels like he's bigger than he is, where he doesn't feel like he's humble enough to be like, you know what, I just need to get a job, maybe do some Section 8 housing, maybe even hit a shelter for a couple of days, save up some money, and let me really invest in myself. Let me bum it out for a little bit. Can you risk? I don't think he's even willing to risk that because he's that girl. He is that girl, honey. You know what I mean? So it's hard for somebody like that to really sit down and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then people around him enable him, and that's what. And then you have like Ty is another person that he hangs out with, and he's just as bad. But you know what? He knows how to play the game a little smarter. I'll give it to Ty. Ty know how to play the game. You know, play the nice card. You know, and you could tell that he tired of Shamar shit too. Tired of Shamar shit. He'd feel like he's carrying so much and he'd do so much. And the funny thing is, him and Tommy feel the same exact way. Him and Tommy feel the same exact way, but they show it in different ways. See, Tommy's lashing out right now because they both feel like Shamar is sitting there. He's rude to the people. He don't really do nothing. All he really want to do is lay up and fuck and stuff like that. At least Ty tries stuff like with the lip gloss and the bonnets and and try to do like the little bingo games. Tommy gonna try to do a little entertainment, bring you gossip and drama. They feel like at least they try to bring something. And Shamar could sit there and just be Shamar, and people gonna drop him and be like, "What you need, boo?" And it don't be like, you see he asking for 100, people be dropping, and to think that they'll keep asking hundreds of dollars, $200. Lord have mercy. They flying today, ain't they? Or maybe I'm just hearing it. So if you don't hear it, don't think I'm crazy. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of audio and there's a lot of noise background. But yeah, it's just like the amount of money, it ain't like I'm asking for $1. He'll ask for like and he's getting this. So that's the thing, you know what I mean? And I've heard like a couple of times, when being shady, Tommy or somebody else would be like, Shamar has money. He'll get thrown money. And remember, disability too. You get some type of check. Imagine if you get a job on top of that and they allow you to work a certain amount of hours. Of course, you got to follow certain rules and regulations according to that. But you do that and you invest in yourself, you'll be great. But then, Ty and Tommy and them, they realized like, oh, this is a fucking hustle. That's why they formed them. That's why they clicked them. They realized like, yo, we don't have to go back to work. We don't really have to do anything. If we sit here online and we sit with these people and we sit with Shamar, we can make money. Without Shamar, they don't make as much. And that's what Tommy's going through right now. And that was the other friend. But him and Shamar fought. They don't have a long history. And that's the thing too. Like I said, with Shamar, friendship and loyalty don't mean nothing to him. His loyalty is only to himself. And I'm sure he had like a hard upbringing and he went through a lot. But I think that has to be healed before he'll ever really know what it even means to be like a real friend. And that goes for them too. Don't feel like I'm just picking on Shamar, because Ty and Tommy do the same shit, and they all, and you know how they say, I feel like they really are birds of a feather, just as different breeds. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Ty knows how to be like, listen, I'm doing all this for you, and he does do a lot for Shamar, and Shamar knows that. I think Shamar also feels like he's better than Ty. He's above Ty, and like Ty almost should be doing this. Like you should be doing this for me, kind of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where Ty is just like, I know that what I could get from this, and I'm gonna bank off as much as I can. Tommy's problem was that it wasn't even about being too real. It's just like he didn't pick his side. See, Ty picked his side. Ty picked his side. Ty was like, yo, I'm chilling now. I'm gonna play the cut. And I'm gonna just make my money. This nigga will do whatever the fuck he wanna do. I'll jump in here and there, but I ain't gonna press it. And the only reason why I say that is because in the earlier videos, Ty used to be a little more vocal about certain things. And I'm guessing when you have a hard head, it's hard to keep fighting with that person. And sometimes it's just like you gotta let them fall on their own. Now with Tommy, it was just like he used to be, blatant with it, very like harsh and just blunt, straight out the back. Like, this is like, yo, you need to get your shit together. Like, come on, we could really do something with this. And I think he saw the potential of what they could really do as far as like marketing and stuff. But maybe nobody really had the mindset, and they didn't see past the live. You know what I mean? They couldn't get past the personal enough to really get past just being on live and make it into something more than just being about drama and stuff like that, because they realized that was brought in the most views. So it's just like it's this whole big thing, and it's crazy because it's just like how they almost feel entitled now. So because it's been going on so long, they feel so entitled now, and that's now become our problem. Because now you have people on there. Well, not our problem. It's your problem if you make it. It's not even my problem, but it's just something that I'm like, yo, I want to talk about this shit because this shit is kind of insane that people really out here supporting this and really being like, yo, let me give my hard earn money every day. You on here begging. And it's not being like negative if you tell somebody like, yo, you gotta get your shit together. Sometimes I need to hear, get your shit together. Sometimes you need to hear it. Sometimes somebody needs to hear that. And it's okay because that's life. You can't be, it's like dealing with a child. The more you let them get away with, the more they're going to do. And if you let them get away with it, why would they stop? So the audience somewhere has to be responsible and mature enough. And you could keep your compassion, but also understand to be like, listen, I have to be that guiding figure. So you know what? Sometimes, as a parent, you gotta let your child fail to see like, okay, this is how it feels, but how you gonna get yourself back up? Because that's the biggest battle, and that's the fight that they need to learn, because that's what life is about. You're gonna fall. Because we've all fallen. We all fall. We all going through our own shit. But you gotta know how to fight. You gotta know how to keep going. You gotta know how to be like, I'm going to do better. But as an audience, if they keep paying and if they keep saying like, we got you, Shamar, how much you need, and then watching these things and thinking this is not entertainment. It's entertaining, but it's not entertainment. You get what I'm saying? Because it's at the risk of somebody's life. So how are you gonna feel? You know what I mean? Him popping all that shit and somebody really bust him in his head, so everybody's gonna be like, oh damn. You get what I'm saying? And with Tommy and Ty, I don't really want to see them fall, because it's like, God forbid this all goes away one day. What they really gonna do with themselves? You get what I'm saying? You can't just be all about fucking and sucking and just thinking. And I understand you're young, so if you balance yourself and you understand, it'll work out better. But then to be disrespectful to the same viewers, asking for money, demanding money, be entitled to the money, and then still get it, and then it's just, the whole thing is just crazy to me. But I kind of just wanted to briefly talk about that and just understanding that, like, yo, like, we as a like viewers is amazing, the people that's out there, especially with the internet, and just knowing that like this exists. You go to work every day, 9 to 5 or whatever hours you work, and you sit there and you try to save up and be like, damn, I gotta do this every day for my life. And there's people out there literally begging every day. Grown men on the internet, begging for $1, begging for 100 and getting it. So let's let that sink in for a little bit. You know what I mean? If I'll leave a couple of like the bloggers, I guess, that I look at, down below, especially, and you can kind of take a look if you decide for yourself. I mean, it's wild. But if you are somebody who does donate, please just understand that sometimes people have to fail in order to succeed, and that's okay. It's okay. Hard love is a type of love too, and sometimes people need that. But this continuing on and knowing that it's going on years now, it's like, okay, we gotta do better, people. We gotta do better. But thank you for that, listening to my little rant. You know what I mean? This has been another one. And as I go along, I will definitely try to, you know, take any tips, especially is about how I speak, and, try to do more editing and add more stuff that might pertain to what's going on. And yeah, any suggestions, comments, please feel free to leave them below. Make sure you subscribe, and I can't wait